everyone and welcome to the KukieKnits channel. My name is Ira and you are watching episode 23 of the KukieKnits Podcast. I am a knitter, a cross stitcher and I occasionally quilt, and I'm coming to you from a very hot day in Sydney, Australia. I have not filmed a regular podcast in quite a while, so I have a few finished objects to share. However, a few of them were gift knits, so I don't have them in person, but I tried my best to get as many good pictures of them as I could. And let's get started. I have 9 FOs. 9! If you want to follow me on other avenues, I am available on Ravelry and on Instagram as KukieKnits as well. Let's get started. I usually make very thorough notes because, I really hate it when I'm watching a podcast and they can't remember the yarn or something major. Obviously, we're not expecting people to give us full A to Z details, but I usually try to make very thorough notes. However, today I'm really squeezing this podcast into my day. I was not expecting it to, I was not expecting to have enough time to film. And I was not expecting the light to be well enough to be filming quite late. I think it's almost like 4:30, 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's a nice hot sunny day, so I figured I'd squeeze it in. So apologies in advance if I'm a little bit unclear on some of my details. Anything I'm missing, I'll pop it on the screen and I'll also put it into my notes underneath. So let's get started. Like I said, I have 9 finished objects. So the first thing I have finished is the Guernsey Genser. This is from the Sandnes Garn booklet. Let me bring it. It's not good, I'm already not prepared on the first item. So it is from this Sandnes Garn booklet, and I have knit mine in the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes non-superwash worsted weight in the colorway Lake Ice Heather. And I'm going to pop a picture in so you can see that it fits me perfectly. I was really worried because the sizing of this pattern is a bit wild. The smallest sizing, an extra small, has a chest circumference of 120 centimeters. My chest circumference is about 97 to 100, depending on what bra I'm wearing or what time of my cycle it is. And I usually don't like to wear super oversized. Like 20 centimeters is not my preference. So I didn't even actually gauge swatch for this one because the fit of the pattern, if you can see, the sleeves are super long and it's super wide on the pattern pictures. So I didn't even gauge swatch. I was like, ooh, if it's a little bit smaller, perfect, because I was knitting the extra small. If it's a little bit bigger, it's going to be big anyways. I was just in that mindset, so I didn't even swatch. However, it turned out perfect. The only modification I did was, so you can see like 3 different sections on here. They also have a 4th section. I decided to eliminate that and just make the cuff a little bit longer because it was like an awkward length. I only needed a few centimeters and I didn't think it would look good. So I made a deeper cuff. I don't think they even tell you how deep to make the cuff actually in the pattern. So I just made it to match the bottom, and it's quite a deep cuff. And I'm very happy with the fit. However, the neckline is a 2x2 ribbing, and even though I don't like any 2x2 cast-offs other than casting off in pattern. So I sized up a couple of needles. However, it's still really tight and I've already got some foundation on there. It fits. But if I'm wearing makeup, it kind of grazes my cheeks and I'm getting makeup on it, which again, I don't like. I'm getting makeup on the side there as well. So I'm going to use some micellar water. Hopefully it takes off a bit of the foundation, and I'm going to undo the cast off and just do a more flexible sewn cast off. Probably the Elizabeth Zimmerman cast off, or there was another cast off that one of my Instagram friends recommended. I'm going to look it up and see which one I want to do. So it's finished, but it's not perfect. So I'm going to go back and make this a little bit more stretchy. Other than that, I'm really happy. And this yarn was the yarn that Knit Picks accidentally sent me 21 balls when I ordered 12. I think I used 11 balls. I think I have like 10 or 9 extra left over, which I can make a whole another jumper out of, which is exciting. Guernsey Genser by Sandnes. And then my next finished object is the one I'm wearing. This is the Moonset Tee by Ozera or Hailey Smedley, and this is knit in Naturally Yarn Co. hand-dyed yarn. She's an Australian hand dyer in the colorway Minamurra, and it's 100% Superwash Merino. It is not the first time I've knit this pattern. I really like this pattern. Last time I had to size down because I only had 2 skeins of yarns, but this time I had 3, so I knitted a bit more boxy like it was meant to be knit. Like with every other thing I knit, it's just a touch shorter because I got impatient and I cast off. I mean, it's fine with these high-waisted shorts, but my belly button is here and it's just a touch higher, whereas I prefer it just a touch lower. So it is an I-cord bind-off, so there's absolutely 0% chance that I will undo that. However, the next time I knit this pattern, because I think I will, I really like wearing it, I will definitely knit it to length. Did I do any modifications for this? No, I don't think so. The only modification I can think of is in the collar. This has this really cool collar. In the back of it, you start off with the Magic Judy's cast on, and I did that my last time, and I realized I don't really care if because you cast on and then you knit the collar down on both sides, so it makes it seamless, but I don't care if there's a little seam. So I just do a regular cast on and I pick up for the other side, and it's just quicker. And I'm gonna change out of this shirt because it is wool and I'm boiling. BRB. And then my next set of finished objects are things that I don't have with me here. However, I made sure I got lots of pictures of them for you. I knit all of those things as gifts for my sister. She was visiting me from Melbourne and she flew back today, which is why I had the day off from work, and I got back home earlier than I thought I would and had time to film. So the last month in January, I sort of really gunned and finished a couple of lingering whips that I had started for her, as well as a birthday present for her, and I finished all of them in time for her to come here and take lots of photographs. So I can show you guys. The first thing that I knit for her was the Haru V-neck by Manmoi Choi. She is also called Soup Knits, and this is a free pattern, and it's a great free pattern. I knit this in Bendigo Woolen Mills Whisper, which is their previously limited edition yarn. It was 100% super fine Superwash Merino in the colorway Espresso. I loved how the yarn felt because other kinds of superfine merino, the ones where there's lots of little plies sort of twisted together, I find them really springy and really it's not my favorite to knit with. I feel like it messes around my tension. However, this one is done in the crepe ply, like the normal Bendigo Classic 8 ply, and it was still really soft, and I found it way more comfortable to knit with. And the pattern is written for a, I think is it written for a DK or a worsted? I think it's written for a woolen spun DK. One of the ones from Brooklyn Tweed or Harris, what are they called? Like Daylights by Harris. I don't know the American yarns. But it's one of those, and it's a really fluffy DK, which this one was not. However, even at a slightly loose gauge, I really liked the fabric and my sister liked how it looked, and so we decided to go for it. The knitting was very straightforward. It was knit on something like 5 millimeters for an 8 ply, so it was super quick. The collar I'm not 100% happy with, so you kind of knit it back and forth in a strip, and then you sew down the 2 overlapping edges to make that really bold V-neck. And as careful as I was, I'm not very happy with right at the end of it. Of course, this is only a knitter would notice these things. It was a 1x1 rib, and the knit columns I had sort of picked up under all of the same knit columns, except for the last stitch, it kind of goes into the knit column, and that bothers me. However, honestly, it's not noticeable at all, so I didn't undo it. And other than that, the feedback on the yarn. So the yarn is not available at the moment. However, it is coming back according to the Bendigo website in March or April. I bought 2 sweater quantities of the Whisper 8-ply last year for gift knits because I figured they're perfect gift knits. Superwash, super fine merino, very soft, really good price. It is Bendigo. However, I ummed and ahed over buying a sweater quantity for myself and I didn't. And I'm definitely going to get one this year. They had this gorgeous hot pink color. I think it was called Scarlet. I want a sweater quantity of that. And I want a sweater quantity of Espresso, which was the one that my sister had because I really like that. It's like the perfect like cool tone chocolate brown. It's lovely. So the yarn was nice and soft. However, it's definitely going to pill. It was already looking a little bit pilly as I was knitting it just from the project being in the bag. Like once I had finished the top and I was knitting the sleeve, I could see that the top was starting to look a bit pilly. It's definitely going to pill. Very soft yarn. It is what it is. My sister also does not mind depilling and I don't mind depilling unless of course it pills forever. That's a different game, but we shall see how it goes once it cools down a little bit and she wears it. I will maybe ask her for some feedback and I'll also buy that yarn later, so I should be able to give you guys a feedback too. My sister loved it, fits so well, very cute pattern, great free pattern, highly recommend. Haru V-neck by Manmoi Choi or KukieKnits on Instagram. And then the next finished object was again for my sister. I started this one mid last year and I don't know why I just stopped knitting on it. It was Blouse number 1 Light by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I knit this in Fibre Co Cirro, which is like a fuzzy alpaca and cotton yarn, kind of like a mohair held double. I'm pretty sure that's what the pattern's written for. In the colorway Blessful. I had knit this till like this sleeve separation and a little bit of the body, and I don't know why I just didn't pick it up. So once I finished, I was aiming to finish the Haru V-neck. Once I finished it, I still had another week before my sister was coming, and I was like, oh, I'm on a roll, maybe I'll try and finish it. And honestly, it took me like 4 days to do the sleeves because they were on huge, like 6.5 millimeter needles. It's literally all stockinette. Not even any ribbing, not an I-cord bind off. It was the most straightforward pattern and it looks so good on her. I was jokingly calling it both the patterns very Gen Z sweaters because my sisters, we have a big age difference. Maybe she's onto something. They are so classic and so stylish. It looks so good. I have some Suri yarn that I was planning to knit the Cumulus blouse, the V-neck one, but now I'm kind of umming and ahhing between maybe making this one. I shall see. Feedback on this pattern. I was a little bit confused. It has a contiguous shoulder construction. Now I'm really trying to remember from a year ago. And I had to undo it because I was having issues with tension because I was also doing magic loop, which I ended up finding the shorter needles that I could use a smaller, which was life changing, and something with the mistakes of the increases. My Favorite Things knitwear patterns are not super hand-holdy in the way it's written, not in a bad way, but it was combined with the magic loop and the yarn that was really hard to frog. Honestly, it was so hard to frog that it was sort of a little bit of a, I wish I had read the instructions correctly the first time kind of regret. But when I did it the second time, it was straightforward. The yarn's really nice and soft. I might be a fuzzy Suri alpaca kind of gal because mohair is not my favorite, and this was really soft. It is very matte looking in compared to mohair that has a little bit of a shine, which I do prefer the little bit of a sheen of mohair, but you know what? Scratchy beggars can't be choosers, so I'm an alpaca girl now. Any other alterations I did? No, I just knit it as it is. It was so easy to wash. It dried immediately and it's like lovely, just a hint of sheer, very light, very beautiful pattern. I loved it. My sister loved it. Fits her great. Yeah. And then the next one I knit for my sister, I knit 3 things for her, was the French Connection socks by Smedley from this book, The Sock Project. and I knit it in some stash yarn. The main yarn was Sweet Pea from Three Cats Yarns, Mel, who's an Aussie dyer, and the contrast yarn was out of the Highlighters little mini skeins pack from Jokamamo yarns. Jokamamo Designs, that's what she's called. She's also an Aussie dyer, lovely lady. And it was a little bit of a stash, like throw color combination thing together, but it was really, really cute. I love the sock. My sister's foot is a little bit longer than mine, so when I was reaching the bit where, you know, I was adding length to my size, I was like, should I just accidentally knit it for me? But I didn't. You know, I can knit myself socks anytime. So yeah, it was a very straightforward sock pattern. I did the jogless stripe that was recommended, the jogless stripe method, and it worked out really well. So I don't know what else there's to say. French Connection socks by Summer Lee. And then my next finished object, while I'm talking about socks and while I'm talking about Summer Lee, is so this is from Halloween, from October, because that's how long it's been since I have filmed. This is the Colorwork Cuff Club sock from October. The main body yarn is Knit Picks Hawthorne fingering, and I got this years ago in a D-stash before I even knit socks. And I don't know what the others are. The brown I think is Regia Tweed, and the white is just a regular Regia. That's what it is. And I love how it looks. I am so happy with my little contrast toe. It is so cute. I was in my last episode saying that it's giving me candy corn vibes. However, now that I've looked up candy corns, they look nothing like candy corns. So they are so cute. I love the little ghosties. Obsessed. I can't wait for it to cool down a little bit so I can wear my little ghost socks, and it's like a fun little thing under my, you know, work clothes or whatever. I feel like, you know, those guys in business suits that wear really funky socks underneath. That's me. And then my next finished object is one that actually finished kind of halfway through the year last year, but it was a secret test knit, so I couldn't show you guys. This is the Vakka vest by Susanna Kaartinen, or on Instagram she's known as Sanna & Co. And she's a Finnish designer and she lives in Australia. I apologize if you've watched my end of the year wrap up, because this is going to be doubling up. Because I just, you know, give you the same information. So this pattern was a secret test knit. It's out in the line special edition Finnish knitters. Yes, in the line Finnish knitters. I also did another test knit for Susanna that was in the other special edition line called Nordic Knitters. This is the one in Finnish knitters. I love this vest. I have knit this in Northeast Yarns. It's like a collective, and they sell the yarn online as well as at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival, which is where I got it in humongous balls. This one is 100% Corriedale in the colorway Alpine Mist. Really nice and soft yarn, really good value, 100% Corriedale, non-superwash, ticking all my yarn boxes. Natural color. I love this design. I really love this little cable detail she has on this side, the split. Gorgeous. That split hem is gorgeous. Also love the basket weave. I never knit a basket weave before, and I really like it. I got a little bit sidetracked when I was doing the increases for the top. It was hard to sort of keep count of rows and how many times you were. I was keeping track of how many increases I was making, but I was losing track of how many repeats I had to do or something like that. But I just knit the number of basket weaves to match the first side I had done. I don't know. That might just be a me thing. I can't juggle that many numbers in my mind. I wore this a lot. The yarn is pilling quite a bit, but it's to be expected, especially on the back ribbing where I sit. quite a bit of pilling, but I did wear it a lot. So just give it another deep pill. It'll be ready for me to wear to work and then next winter. And then my next finished object is, ta-da, my cross stitch. So I finally, after 3 years, finished my Starry Night cross stitch. I do apologize for the reflection from the window. This is from the Art of the Stitch. I will link a page below. And I knit this, I stitched it on 18 count Ida, and it is, if I'm not mistaken, 11 by 13 inches. And sort of on and off it took me 3 years because these swirls were so intricate. It took me so long. And I custom ordered this frame to match it. For some reason, the mat is a little bit bigger, and also the piece was a little bit smaller than the measurements that it said it was going to be. I don't know if that was a me tension thing, or I actually don't know enough about cross stitch to even remotely try to guess if it was the fabric, if it was me, if there's an error in the pattern. Don't know. I just framed it for now. I think I don't mind a little bit of the fabric showing. It actually shows that it is a cross stitch. However, if it really bothers me, it should be pretty straightforward to just get a new mat made to fit the correct dimensions. Maybe give the man correct dimensions, though he was off a couple of millimeters as well. My Starry Night, and I have already started on my next cross stitch. And then my last finished object was a baby quilt that I've already given away. It was for my friend who's having a baby. I'll show you, pop a picture in. I'm so with it with the details when I knit, like, you know, pattern, designer, my sizing, the yarn, all these details, like really no problem. Couldn't tell you to save my life what this pattern is. When I decided I was going to make this quilt, I looked up, you know, free quilt patterns, sort of looked up ones that look, you know, straightforward, pretty blocky. I don't want to do anything too intricate. And I saw this pattern and I literally just screenshotted the instructions and the fabric requirements. Could not tell you what the name is because I didn't screenshot that. It was a free pattern. I just looked up free baby patterns and this one popped up and I screenshotted it. So I do apologize, I do not have the details for it. It's clearly some kind of star. If any quilters here know what the pattern is, pop it in the comments below. I promise I will keep track of it better next time, but my friends at the time hadn't said what the gender was, so I picked out, you know, not like a stereotypical pink or blue fabric. The moths in that actually have a little bit of pink and have a blue as well. And then the white has little bits of yellow through it, and the backing is sort of like a dark grayish green. And now I know they're having a boy, and they both, the to-be parents, were very happy with the fabric choices. So they were happy. Yeah, they were happy with it. She was a bit emotional, actually, my friend, that I put in so much time and effort for the quilt. It was a very straightforward quilt. However, my friend's not a big crafter, and it's always nice to make stuff for people who appreciate it. She was a bit emotional. It was really lovely. So that's my last finished object. Moving on to my works in progress. This is an exciting day, exciting year, 2025. It's finally happening. This is my current main whip, and this is Sky by Marie Wallen. Miss Marie Wallen herself. So I have had the yarn for this since 2019, maybe even 2020. I don't know in what universe I thought, oh yeah, I can knit this. And the yarn is the gray. Okay, I'm gonna pop in a picture of the Marie Wallen pattern. When I saw it, ooh, I was like, okay, I have to make this. It's beautiful. I think I saw this on fruity knitting. That would be where I saw it, fell in love with the pattern, loved the colorway, so just decided to recreate it. And this was the original pattern. This was designed in felted tweed by Rowan, because it's a Rowan pattern. However, Marie has since reworked it to be in her book called Cherish, and it's reworked in her yarn. So originally I bought 8-ply for the yarn because Rowan felted tweed is 8-ply. However, it's actually knit on 3.25 needles because it's knit on like a fingering weight gauge. And then in the new book, it's been reformulated to be knit with Marie Wallen's own yarn, British Breeds, which is also a fingering weight 4-ply yarn. And it's exactly the same gauge, exactly the same needle. So I felt more confident in buying fingering weight yarn for it. So the yarn I'm using is Knit Fix Palette. The gray is in the colorway Mist, and the blue is in the colorway CL or CLO, CIEL, I think so. And the gauge matched perfectly. So it's a bottom-up sweater with strips of color work right at the bottom, and then a color work yoke. And the body is this beautiful textured design. It's got traveling stitches with twisted right leaning or left leaning, and every row is different. So, and it's 4-ply, so I have something like a gazillion stitches on here. It is so slow going. I feel like such a beginner knitter. There's nothing wrong with being a slower knitter. I just hate knitting slower than I usually can. So this is driving me a little bit bonkers. However, now that like I can see I've made progress. I felt like it took me like a week to knit up to like here, but I'm getting used to the pattern a bit more, so I'm making progress and I'm so happy with it. It's so stunning. The fabric is so nice. I love 4-ply jumpers. So I think this year I'm going to try and make quite a few 4-ply jumpers because I have quite a bit of 4-ply yarn, sweater quantities. I can't believe I'm actually knitting this. This has been on the top of my Ravelry queue for literally like 4 years. And this year, as soon as I finished all of those projects for my sister, I was like piling up whip, you know, finishing up whip on whip on whip. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the Marie Wallen. And we started, yay! Sky by Marie Wallen. It's honestly quite a straightforward pattern for Marie Wallen, and the way I'm harping on about it, she has some really complex patterns, but this isn't it. This is knit in the round, bottom up, 2-color color work, most of the body is 1 color. But you know, it's a very special, this is like my dream sweater when I first started knitting, and I feel so happy and like chuffed with myself that I'm managing to do it now, you know? This is progress that I can tangibly see in myself. Happy days. And then my next next work in progress is the Seaborn Tee by Hannah Lubin. So this is not the first time I've knit this pattern. I have knit this for my friend before, and I had bought yarn for myself at the same time, and I'm finally getting around to knitting it. So I am knitting this in Drops Bell, which is a cotton, linen, and viscose blend yarn. It is like DK weight 8-ply summer yarn, and I'm knitting it in the color white. Seriously, I'm so pleased with how crisp white this is. I feel like it's hard to find a crisp white, not so much in summer yarns, but in woolly yarns. And then the accent color is in this green. It's called Sage. I have already knit most of the pattern. So it has this gorgeous lace cabling on the bottom. Are you kidding me? And I have knit 1 sleeve, attached it already, and I am currently, this mess of thread is the lace on the 2nd sleeve. It took me no time. I honestly think if I sit and focus on it, I could possibly even finish it today. And I have, like I said, I have knit this before. I don't know if Hannah's reworked the pattern or not. However, the first time I knit it, I remember feeling like there was a lot of pages in the pattern. Stuff like the needle size and the gauge and everything, it just takes up like one whole page. There's instructions for German short rows, which takes up a whole page. And this pattern also is designed that you can customize, of course, the bust circumference, but also the arm circumference. So you can pick and choose what sizing to go together, and there's lots of already done numbers. You don't have to do any calculation, but there's, you know, charts for this number, like this circumference, and if you're knitting this, like what stitches, how many counts here, how many counts there. So there's a lot of columns of numbers and stuff, which at the first time I was knitting it, it was very different from the normal patterns I had knit. But considering this is the second time I was knitting it and I sort of knew what to expect, it's been smooth sailing. I really appreciate the customizable sizing because I do like a looser arm cuff. Sometimes the arm cuffs are really tight, and it's quite a straightforward pattern. So even though there's a bit of instructions, it's easy to knit. It's so beautiful. I am actually so obsessed with this sweater. I have always been obsessed with this sweater, which is why I chose to make it for my friend, and for this top, it's a top. And I am so happy I'm finally getting around to having one of my own. Love the green, love the crisp white. It's just, this lace is so stunning, honestly. I love this pattern. I think I'm going to make a single color version as well in a summer yarn because I just love it. And have I tried this on? No. Is it going to be perfect? Yes, I can feel it in my soul. Seaborn Tea by Hannah Lubin, knit in Drops Bell. And then I actually don't have very many whips anymore because I've finished most things. I have a blanket that's ongoing. I have a lace weight knit that I barely touched, so I don't know if I'm even counting that as a whip. And I just have one more whip. Only 3. There was a while I had something like 14 or 15 going on because I went through a period of just casting on stuff and not finishing anything. So this next one is also from the sock project by Smedley, and it's just a standard 2x2 rib sock. I think in the book it's called the Color Block Rib Sock. Sorry, give me 1 second. I will look it up for you. Oh, I have a bookmark here. Yeah, so it's called the Color Blocked Rib Sock, but I'm just doing it in one color. So I finished one sock, but I haven't kitchenered off the edge, and I'm knitting this in 3 Cat Yarns sock in the colorway Graffiti. I had sent this yarn to my friend Marina from the Strawberry Pickles podcast. Strawberry Pickles? I'm confusing her with the knitting pickles. With the knitting pickle. Strawberry Patches podcast. Apologies, Marina. And I had sent her this yarn because it's just such a fun yarn, and Marina is a dyer as well, and I thought she would appreciate the fun colors and speckles. She loves knitting socks, and when I saw her knit it up, and this was even before I knit socks, I was like, I need a pair in this. So at Fibre Fest last year, Mel had said, I don't know if she followed through, so I'm not sure. But Mel was talking about possibly closing her shop. So I bought 3 skeins of this, and I gave 1 each to my friend M from, I'll link her channel, Miss M Knits. And then also to my friend Ane, because they both had birthdays around Fibre Fest. So we were having a little mini sock knit along. We're knitting different sock patterns, just using the same sock yarn. So I've done one. I made it a slightly longer cuff, hopefully to wear with the boot, because I am a shorty sock wearer. I have very chunky Filipino calves. If you're Filipino, you know. And so if I make the socks too long, the cuff is really tight immediately. It has to be ankle, or I feel like I almost need to put in creases. However, the ribbing sort of really helps counteract that. So I'm on my second one. I have been on this much for a couple of months. I literally haven't knit anything with it. But once I finish the Seaborn tee, this is going to be my easier knit, and hopefully I'll get it done. That's it. I only have 3 whips, 9 finished objects, but only 3 whips. And let's go to the acquisitions. Apologies, mid-editing Ira here. I just realized I forgot to show you my new cross-stitch whip for hopefully this year. I've been obsessed. I've actually done quite a lot of it. I had to force myself to put it away because I was literally not knitting. So my first cross stitch that I did was the Kiss by Clint, and I want to have 3 Clint pieces in a gallery wall. However, after finishing the first one, because it's all yellows, I wanted a little change of pace, so I decided to do the Starry Night in the middle instead, which took me so long. So we are back on plan with the Klimt gallery wall. So this is the lady with the fan, or the lady with a fan. I love this painting, and I also have got this from the Art of the Stitch, and I started this in November, and I've done heaps. And this is a much easier, much faster piece because there's semi-decent chunks of each color. There's a lot of animals and sort of flowers and stuff in the background, and there's huge chunks of the yellow, so it's been pretty quick and easy. So yeah, that's one of my ongoing yearly whips. Okay, so the acquisitions. This year I am on a self-imposed low buy, pretty much a no buy other than a couple of circumstances. Like I have a decent size stash. However, like I don't feel any guilt about how much I have. I did last year knit a bit less than I thought I would. I don't know if I was knitting more full ply stuff, so it was taking me longer to knit, or if I was also doing cross stitching and quilting. So I felt like I was knitting less than to match how much I was buying. I used to literally never care about that a few years ago because I was churning stuff out. Stuff I really liked. I really like doing gift knits. I knit for my friends, for my family, for my partner. So it's not like everything that I make is for me. However, last year when I was looking at my queue and on Ravelry, whenever I was feeling like stagnant about oh, I have so many whips I want to finish, and looking at my queue and what I'm going to make next really helps motivate me. And I was looking at, like, for example, the Marie Walling sweater that's been in my Ravelry queue forever that I really want to knit, and there's so few things, so many things like that on there that I really, really want. So I want to dedicate this year to knitting a little bit of my Ravelry queue and my yarn stash up so that I can make more room for new patterns and new yarns in my future. So I'm on a low buy. I'm gonna be okay with asking for yarn for birthday presents, and if I need to knit for a friend or for a gift and I don't have yarn that goes with it, I will buy it. And I will also buy the Bendigo Whisper yarn because I want it and it's limited edition, and I'm okay with adding a couple of sweater quantities. So they're 8-ply, it'll be fast to knit. Long story short, I don't have that many acquisitions. So the only thing that I actually bought was this Tandy 4-ply Polworth in a D stash. This is an actual yarn. It's 100% 4-ply fingering Polworth wool from Tandy or girl. This is where the Aussie names get me. Tandworncourt, but everybody calls it Tandy. I had been wanting to try the yarn forever. One of my friends is destashing it. It's a great neutral color. I figured it would be great to have in stash for any future, even for color work patterns, it would be great. So I got it, and I'm really happy I did because it's really nice and soft, lovely neutral color. I'm excited to try it. I have been eyeing the yarn forever. So that was my only acquisition I bought, and that was last year. And I got a couple of other acquisitions as gifts. So every year me and my friends do a Secret Santa. I usually knit or make something, and I made one of my friends a double-sided apron. Like I sewed a little apron. But for my Secret Santa gift, I had asked for the person to pop into Morrison Sons into the city and get me a color or some fun Regia sock yarn, like just one ball. I think we have a $30 limit. So I was not expecting my friend to pick up the cotton sock yarn. This is the cotton color by Regia. It is a sock yarn that's 72% cotton, 18% polyamide, and 10% polyester. And it's got that, like, it knits up into a pattern, and they're all based on socks and this on fruits. And this is the orange one. I had seen it come in. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And now I guess I get to try it. So that's actually quite fun. It might not be what I wanted, but I would have never bought this on my own. So maybe it'll be nice. We'll see. And then my last acquisition was one that I asked for Christmas. And it was a sweater quantity of this gorgeous yarn that I have been eyeing forever at yarn festivals. This is from Alpaca Allure, which is an Aussie alpaca farm and yarn producer. And this is full ply, and it's Australian alpaca with recycled sari. So it's got flecks of pink in it. And it is so gorgeous. And I've got 4 of them to make some sort of fun fingering weight sweater. So that's it. So thank you everybody for watching. Happy New Year. It's a new year. What are your New Year knitting plans or resolutions? If you make resolutions, I'm not a resolution person, but I tend to make my resolution in November. I sort of get more motivated by, oh, it's coming to the end of the year. For next year, I like to get into the pattern in November. So I've made a few life changes in November, and I'm sticking to it so far, which is great. And what have you been doing? What have you decided your next year is going to look like in your crafting? Leave some comments below, and hopefully I will be more on track this year with keeping up with showing you guys what I'm knitting more frequently. So thanks so much for sticking through my slightly long-winded, chaotic episode. Love you guys. Bye.